all over. It contains strong language, strong opinions, and strong beer. It is not meant for children or for those who think they are children. You know who you are.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Welcome to episode 82 of Dumb All Over. Recording from the anus of the United States, Pennsylvania, and the not-so-secret lair in New York. This is a progressive podcast with brash opinions on politics, religion, and pop culture. And we're always under the influence of craft beer. On this week's episode, we will talk about Omarosa, Rudy Giuliani, more Catholic Church stories, Keith Ellison, a GOP son, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We then speak with Sarah Smith, who is fresh off of her victory in Washington State.
Totally brilliant.
And Austin is back with the soundboard. As
Yes, I am.
always, I am Tom. And I am joined by the one and the only man who hasn't left me after the first date. That's not a date. It's the show. Austin.
It's because we're celibate.
It's Austin.
What's his face?
It's Austin. Hi, Austin.
You know, Tom, I've been trying to think how to describe you, and I think the best way I could come up with is
A stereotypical badger holding a hamburger.
Courtesy of Ben Shapiro himself. What does that even mean? What is that? A
I don't know,
typical
but I love
badger
it.
holding a what? A hamburger?
yeah, stereotypical badger.
What's stereotypical about a badger?
I don't know, but stereotypical badger is definitely my new cover
man.
band.
It's definitely
Wow, we've started early.
that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I have no idea where. Maybe some death metal. I bet you. Like
Okay.
the Raging Badgers or something. I bet you that's a band.
Okay.
How are you doing today, Austin?
I'm doing good.
It's been a pretty hectic news week. We'll get into that as well. But if you want, we should probably start off the way we always do by introducing today's drinks.
I want.
Ooh, Austin, what are you drinking today?
Okay. Well, I've gone way out on left field.
Uh-huh.
Left is best. Hashtag.
Nice.
Sorry. I sound like an old man because the hashtag goes before the thing you say.
It's okay. And he put it on the Twitter.
Yeah, on the Twitter. And I have gotten the 23rd anniversary.
Oh, from the one and only Dogfish Head, of course. It's a great beer. Wonderful.
Oh, no, wait. Now, hold on. Dogfish Head doesn't start with a W.
It's Wounders. It's the...
It
is the redheaded stepchild of Founders. Wounders. Hi, Hannah. How you doing? Okay, so it's Weyerbacher.
Yes, it is another Weyerbacher. Yeah.
Wow, way to be boring, bro.
Yes, it is a golden stout brewed with Garskara, coffee, and cocoa nibs.
Ooh.
Which we should know by now. I think I've had this like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, no, what did I have the last one?
Something similar. I know you had tequila like 2 episodes ago.
No, yeah, I think the last one was the Day Wrecker.
Probably, yeah.
Because my day was kind of wrecked.
There you go. Now, I've been on the Weyerbacher kick, but today is not a Weyerbacher day for me.
And now they won't sponsor us. Good job, Tom.
Yeah, listen, they're never going to sponsor us. They've ignored my countless emails. This beer...
excuse me. There's no evidence that they've ignored your emails.
They've ignored my...
There hasn't been any non-evidence yet.
Oh, my God. The fact
We'll
that...
get to that story, though.
All right. This is from Dominion. We've had this before. It is their Oak Barrel Stout. I'm showing Austin.
Very close to the camera.
Very close to the camera. It is oak aged stout fermented in vanilla beans. It's 5.5%, so it's not like super, super strong, but very tasty, very flavorful. I enjoy this beer. We've had it before, and that's why I've brought it back. I will, however, be ending on one of my favorite drinks of all time.
Oh.
Which we'll get to later.
Okay.
So let us do our symbolic cheers, and we'll get this shit show on the road. Agreed?
Agreed.
My coaster came with my glass.
It happens.
Cheers.
Here we go. Oh, that was a good one.
Thank you. It's a very smooth drink. This Dominion Oak Barrel Stout, very smooth. You don't taste any of the alcohol. It's not overly sweet. It's not overly bitter. Very good drink. Very good.
I realized we both had stouts today.
I drink stouts most of the time.
I do too, but not that look like this. This totally does not look like a stout.
I still want to try one of those. You got to save at least one. Or at least get more.
Well, you could get some. It's a lot closer to you than it is to me.
I know, but I don't go out. I don't like seeing people. They scare me.
It's like a couple minutes from your job. You can just stop in the tap room. They'll give you one. You don't have to see people.
It's
you
far.
Just get
it's far enough.
It's far enough. Okay.
All right, Austin. We have our beers, and we're ready to go. Right?
That's right. So let's get into the. Oh wait, what were you gonna say?
You know what? Let's do something a little different this week.
You know how I hate different.
Yes, but I think you're going to enjoy this one.
Okay.
Because of the scale of this interview that we're supposed to have later in the show, how about we do the interview first?
Ooh, I like that idea.
Let's take a break. I know we just started. We're going to take a break. We're going to prep it.
And we formed a union.
And when we come back, we have Sarah Smith, who pulled off one of the more amazing primary wins in Washington State. Former guest. I'm sure this is going to be a lot of fun. How's that sound?
Oh, now I'm excited.
All right, perfect. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll have Sarah Smith. Joining us now is a former guest of the show. You may remember her as the candidate from Washington State who was trying to defy all odds and make it onto the November ballot. She is now one of the official candidates on that November ballot in Washington State, and we are proud to call her a friend of the show. Her name is Sarah Smith. Sarah, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Fantastic as well. And this is definitely the first take. So how's everything been?
Everything's going amazing. I am kind of tired. I'm excited. I'm still in shock. We're still seeing. I'm a person who I love facts and hard facts and resolute information. So that I know the vote won't be certified or the results won't be certified till the 21st. So part of me is like, there's still time. We could still get knocked out. And everyone is like, no, Sarah, it's not. It's statistically impossible at this point. And I'm like, okay, but still. So I'm remaining the cautious optimist with one foot on the ground, and I'm celebrating, but I'm trying to be kind of tentatively celebratory, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. But so let's talk about Election Day, because it's been a long time since you've been on the show. Before you were just running, and up until last Tuesday, you were still just running for Congress. And then Election Day hit, and we can probably safely say it was a weird day.
Yes, for everyone.
Now, I'll tell you this before you go on. Austin and I, at least myself, I won't throw Austin into this. Maybe he did know, but I did not know that Washington State took the top two. So, my, Pennsylvanian voting habits were like, oh, she didn't get to the top. So I was a little concerned. Why don't you go through what that whole day was like? What were you expecting going into last Tuesday, and what happened as the day progressed?
Sure. So I was really grateful that the process was kind of weird, because I filled my time and I assuaged my anxiety by just explaining Washington's voter system on Twitter over and over again. And I was talking with a reporter. She was like, yeah, I feel like every 4 years I have to re-explain to people how Washington works. Mm-hmm. But it was definitely interesting. So I woke up extremely early thanks to the anxiety, and it was probably like 5:30 in the morning, and I'm laying in bed checking my emails. My husband's like, why are you awake right now? Like, because I have emails to check, and he's like, oh my God, what's done is done. We just got to push through, get the last minute voters to drop stuff off. We got to the office around, I want to say 10 o'clock. People had been there since 8 or 9, and then my sister came into town, so I picked her up at 7:30 in the morning and dropped them off, and then my husband and I went to the office, and we hung out, and we sat with all of our volunteers, and they just hopped right on the phones. There was no missing a beat. So in Washington, to kind of explain a little bit about our very peculiar system, we are 100% mail-in ballots, and this is the first year that we actually had prepaid postage as well. Yeah, so all you have to do is you literally just fill your ballot out and you toss it in the mail, or you can toss it in one of the ballot boxes. So what kind of staggers the time is because there's mail delays from across the county. There's people that are mailing from out of the country, and then they have dozens of ballot drop boxes that they have to go and collect at 8 p.m. the day of the election. So we get about 5 or 6 waves of votes. We all call them drops. We're like, how many votes are going to drop today? And I'm like, I don't know. Half the time I was like somewhere between 40,000 and 5, I guess. But it's a really interesting process. So you get a big chunk of votes that were already mailed in. We get our ballots we got them this year, July 18th, and you could submit them back on July 20th. So you got people that were very responsible and that mailed them back within those first couple of weeks. And then you got people like most of my volunteers and a lot of working class folks and a lot of millennials who were like, oh yeah, I got to drop my ballot off by 8 o'clock. And so they just went and found a ballot box and dropped it in there.
Oh, jeez.
So we were pretty much calling all day, reminding people, last minute voters were like, did you vote? Have you dropped your ballot off? Do you know where your ballot box is? We were literally Google mapping people's houses to help them find ballot boxes. It was pretty cool. Yeah. So we worked all the way up until the first drop. And then we had our watch party. And then in hindsight, I was like, maybe we should have had 3 separate watch events, because we all knew that we weren't really going to know until Friday. But I realized a lot of our volunteers didn't really even know that. So the first wave hit, and I was like, this is the first wave, everybody. Don't be discouraged, because a bunch of people were like, I'm so sorry you lost. I'm like, no, it's only 60% reporting. We still have 40% to go.
Okay.
So it was really fun. And I mean, we kind of watched, we had our big party the first night, and I was really proud of how we did the first night for a scrappy little underdog campaign. We had an awesome first night drop. And then after that, we just kind of brought our whole volunteer squad over, and we actually watched from the comfort of my living room in my house. So we had cheese, we had crackers, we got some food together for everybody. We watched the second drop at 4, and then we were like, oh no. And I could kind of feel people getting a little discouraged. I'm like, no, guys, we had a huge jump. We jumped 7,000 votes. We're almost there. We're within a couple hundred of taking over Doug. And then the third night happened, and then we overtook Doug. And the crazy thing is, there's actually a documentarian from a Japanese news station who's telling people, no, this is an important thing that's happening in America. So he's making a documentary. He happened to extend his trip by 1 day and was at the house and caught it on film the moment we found out we advanced.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, so hopefully that's going to be coming out in a couple of months. He said he's working on it. It's a long-term documentary about brand new Congress, but really, really cool. And he was so excited, and he was so nice. He's like, your campaign is so cool. You guys are just treating me like I'm family. This is amazing. And we got excited, and he got excited with us. And it was just, I'm so glad someone got the end result of that 3-day nail-biting, breath-holding experience on camera.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Great. Yeah, it was really cool. He showed everybody and my whole family and stuff. It was really cool. I'm so grateful for that.
So is Washington State at 100%? Are all the votes in?
So all the votes are in that we are aware of. We know they still have a couple more drops left to go. They still have they said 20,000 more ballots. Not all of those are in the 9th district. I think there's probably only 5,000 to 6,000 left in the 9th district. Okay. But because they're split between, I think it's 3 total districts, I think it might be 4. They are estimating that if wherever you're at now is pretty much where you're going to wind up. So there's not enough for any one person to be overtaken in any of the races.
Wow. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Seattle Times called it on Friday, and then everyone else cautiously waited till yesterday to call it. So it was great.
That must have been the real surreal moment right there. Like when you're starting to see your name and all these papers and news organizations, and they're like, "Hey, Sarah Smith is going to November."
It's crazy. One of my friends in Colorado is like, I heard you mentioned on the radio